Hey guys, Safe State here. So, I work as a pizza delivery driver, as some of you may know, and while I'm on the shift, I tend to get tips. You know, pizza delivery drivers, they get tips. What I wanted to do was I wanted to tell some stories about my work, and I posted about this to my community tab, so, people voted, and I'm giving the people what they want. So, what I've made here, for those of you who aren't as old as I am when it comes to being on the internet, is an alignment chart based off of Dungeons and Dragons. We've got, first column, we got lawful, then we got neutral, then we got chaotic, we got good, we got neutral, and we have evil. All of these are going to be stories based off of actual experiences I've had while delivering pizza. Now, you're going to see a lot of background footage of video game. That's because staring at this for 10 minutes would get very boring. So, I'm going to take a bit of a wild card moment. I'm going to start with, true neutral. If we scratch it off, we're going to see the most true neutral of tipping responses: keep the change. Now, when I say keep the change, I mean the type of people who they'll pay with cash and their change is going to be something like 18 cents. I wouldn't give you change for that because I only carry dollar bills as per company policy. But, I appreciate the sentiment. I enjoy that you're not going to have, get all fussy about the fact that I now have to dig around through my car to try and find 18 cents. It's just a very neutral response. I get it. There's no real intent one way or the other behind it, other than you don't feel like carrying extra coins around. Next, we're going to go over to lawful neutral, and we're going to sort of go in like a clockwise sort of thing, if you're following me here. For lawful neutral, we got, giving a couple extra dollar bills. Again, paying with cash. You throw in a couple extra, like maybe $2 or $3. Now, I've been asked this before, so I'm going to say it here. What I expect to be tipped is like $2 or $3. It feels like courtesy. That's generally what I would tip, regardless, because it's like, that's money going in my pocket either way, regardless, more money, it's pretty good. Bigger tip, always better. But, a couple extra dollars, I'm not gonna complain, because it's still money. Lawful good, you've got the classic 15 to 20%. Sometimes people will do it, especially if it's a big order, tipping 15. That's like, $8 sometimes. Again, very good tip. Very happy to receive it. It feels like an industry standard, but, this is, lawful, neutral, and true neutral. That's about more what I'm expecting. Now we're going to start getting into more specific stories with neutral good. Needing change just for the tip. One time, on an early morning delivery, I pulled up to a man's house. He had paid online, because, you can pay with card, online or over the phone, and he wanted to give me change. Unfortunately, he only had a $50 bill. This is what this man asked me. He asked me if I had $40, because he wanted to give a $10 tip, but he did not have $10. So he figured, split the difference. I get a $10 tip, and I'm getting that money either way. Now, my company policy is that I'm not supposed to give change of more than $20. However, some people would consider this to be a $10 bribe to break company policy. What I will say is that I got a $10 tip that day. Was it from this man? I'm not going to say yes legally. Moving on, we have the chaotic good. There's another specific story. We've got tipping more than the cost of the food. One night, it was my last delivery of the night. I pulled up to a woman's house. I walk across. I wait a bit. I've got the food. She hands me cash. This was about, like $18, $19. It was pretty small order. I get handed a wad of cash. And it's like, I've had people who've paid for like, over $20 orders before with just like mostly ones. It's like I don't really think about it. So, I take the money, she takes her food, goes back inside, turns off the porch light. I go to my car, I start counting, and it's $42. It was like an $18, $19 order, and I just got like a $21 tip. I didn't really understand how that transpired. I wasn't going to complain. This person handed me the money, and they didn't ask for change, so it's a tip. That's the way I see it. And I was just amazed, because that is like an hour and a half of pay from one order. It was amazing. It's only happened to me once. Going down to chaotic neutral, paying for a $20 to $30 order of food with a $50 bill. Let me tell you why this is chaotic neutral. Originally, this was gonna be in its own category of chaotic stupid because it's so dumb. Then I almost put it in chaotic evil because it's just so, again, dumb. But then I put it in neutral because I realized there was something worse you could do. And I realized I also don't need to put it in chaotic stupid because I don't need to add an extra category because that means, I can't make this a square. It doesn't look very good for the graphics. There are 3 instances where somebody has done this that haunt my soul. I'm gonna tell them out of order chronologically based on how bad they were. The first instance was actually the first one, so I guess I lied about the chronological thing technically. It's late at night. I pull up to this person's house. It's one of those houses where it's multiple like places in one house building. There's 2 doors. One of them's just the home, the other is a staircase. This person lived in the staircase bit. The door was wide open, and it was a pitch black void of a staircase. I was staring into the abyss holding the pizza. The man comes out. It's like a $27 order, and he hands me a $50 bill, and I tell him, "Sir, I cannot give you more than $20 in change." And, he's very understanding about it. He goes back in. I quickly run to my car because I realized I had left some of my bankroll in my car. And then he comes back. And he hands me a $5 bill, 15 $1 bills, and 2 rolls of coins, a $2 roll of nickels, and a $5 roll of dimes. You hear that? That is $7 of coins clanking together. I still have these rolls. I have not unwrapped them because, frankly, I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. Well, pay for $7 worth of physical goods, I guess. But it was a strange thing. And my coworkers, I told them about it. They told me that that's not that weird to expect, but literally nobody else has done that at all. Very confusing. The second instance, this was on New Year's Eve. It was my first delivery of the night. This person, they ordered much closer to that $30 mark, so it's fine. It's fine. Since it is $30, I have to give them change if they ask for it. This person, he does his thing and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll tip you $5. So, he's still getting $15 of change back, but, I'm getting a $5 tip. While the $5 tip is good, I would like to point out, the company only gives me $20 to start with so that I can give change. This person asked for $15 of change, and the rest of the $5 was technically my tips. So the first order of the night drained my entire bankroll, which wasn't great. Thankfully, nobody else needed change that night, but that was still like a, oh god, what am I gonna do if more people need change sort of moment, And then this last one. This one is the second in the timeline. See, I wasn't fully lying about the chronological thing. They aren't in chronological order because of the last 2. This man, it was about sunset for this one. That's how you know it came second, because of the position of the sun. He ordered about $23 of food. He only had a $50 bill. And when I say he only had a $50 bill, I told him, "Sir, I can only give you up to $20 in change." And he was like, "Man, I don't got any other bills." So we both stood around awkwardly for 3 minutes as I had to text work, say, "Hey, what am I supposed to do?" Now, the man, I believe, was starting to feel incredibly awkward about the fact that I was standing there holding food and he had to figure out how he was going to pay for it. Eventually, and I'm not allowed to coax it out of him. That's against the policy. I'm not allowed to beg for tips, essentially. He was like, "All right, I'll bite the bullet." And he tipped up. He was like, basically like, "Okay, I'll just take the 20, which meant that I was tipped the difference between $30 and his order. So, it was a nice tip, but again, that's $20 out of the money I had accrued already. Kind of sucked. So that's why I originally planned on it being chaotic stupid, but then I realized, it'll be chaotic neutral, because it doesn't inherently have any malice to it. It's more of poor planning. Chaotic evil, though. This is evil. Ordering $100 of food and not tipping at all. Now, I've only ever taken one $100 order. They tipped me $5. Only $5 for a $100 order. bit stingy, but you know what, I kind of get it. You're ordering $100 of food. Extra money. I mean, I don't see why 5 more wouldn't matter at that point. It's not that significant. It's 5% of your order at that point. But I have seen one of my coworkers have to take a very big hot bag to put all of those pizzas in, only to not receive a tip at all. If you are dropping that much money on pizza, you can afford a couple dollars of tip. It doesn't seem that insane to me to just give a little bit extra, you know? It just seems cruel to have to carry that much pizza, that much food, especially since you do have to physically carry it out of your car and to their house, only to not tip at all. Neutral Evil. I actually don't remember what I put for Neutral Evil. Oh, now I remember. I'd tip, but I don't have the extra cash on hand. On an order where they paid with a card. This was one. It was nighttime. And this person, you know, it's very self-explanatory. They paid with their order with their card, either online or over the store. When you do this, you can include a tip with the company I work for. This person, however, did not do this. And like you could write it on the receipt, the credit card receipt. You can add a tip. That is, it's valid. You can do that. This person did not do that. This one definitely belongs in evil because clearly paying with cash wasn't the issue here. But again, I can say that there's no malice behind this. I believe that this person was probably thinking, oh, typically pizza places, you know, they take a cut of some of the tips of their servers and their delivery drivers. And I get that people would want to like keep that on the down low. The company I work for, that's not the case. I get to keep all of my tips. But it's still, well, that's a bit, that sucks a bit. You know, it is what it is though, it is what it is. But this last one, this last order, I cannot say that there is no malice in this. However, how specific the malice is why I put it in lawful, because it is most certainly evil. Overpaying for your food with exact coins and not tipping at all, wanting exact change back. It was a very cold, you know, icy road night. This woman, her order was approximately, I'm gonna say $23.22. It wasn't, I don't remember if it was exactly that. This order was a few months ago, but it was something along those lines. This woman, if I remember correctly, gave me 2 dimes, 2 pennies, and 2 $20 bills. Now, she had overpaid by about $16. So I asked, ma'am, how much change do you want back? And she looks at me like I had just said the stupidest thing she had ever heard. So it's like, you know, there's like a $16 difference. So she just looks at me like I'm stupid and she says $16. I had to run back to my car because I did not have enough bankroll to fulfill that. And she was clearly very annoyed that I had to do this. And keep in mind, I had to give quite a few $1 bills again because my bankroll was kind of drained that night. And not even after I had handed her the money, even during it, she could have changed her mind. She could have at any point said, okay, here, you know, here's, you know, even one of the $1 bills. Nothing. She wanted exact change. And, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, if you wanted exact change, you can go to the store. But it's like, you know, I understand. Some people can't drive. You know, they can't drive. They wouldn't be able to drive down. But that feels malicious. Because you are overpaying by that much. You are showing me that you have the money. You are showing me that you have the capacity to add extra money to your bill to give a tip. And you don't. You have to look me in the eyes as I hand you your exact change back, and you have to know that you did not leave a tip. It just feels evil to me to put that much effort, even getting the coins to get your exact change. This wasn't, because that's the thing too. Without the coins, she would have paid $40. She would have been many, many dollars overpaying. So she had to go out of her way to get the coins in order to make sure it would be exact change. If she had gotten rid of the coins, that would have been $1 less that she would have received, and I would have received the difference. It would have been less than a $1 tip, but she got the extra 20-something cents to ensure I got nothing out of that interaction, which is why I think it's evil. That this isn't just a case of, not being able to drive, so just paying the extra $5 being more convenient. It feels evil to do that. I have been rambling for quite a while now, but thank you for listening. This is just a short collection of stories from work. I promise it's not all that bad. Most of the deliveries I go on are fine people. About half of them tip anyway, which to some extent, I'd say people that don't tip, it's worse than getting a bad tip, because, at least I get something out of a bad tip. But these bottom ones, notice how I said not tipping your minimum wage service worker is evil. Keep what I said as a minimum wage service worker in mind the next time you consider not tipping your local minimum wage service worker. I have been Save State. Thank y'all for watching. GG to all and to all, good night. Poise off, everybody. Bye.